hot. Fuck you. Oh, who did this podcast? Erin is sitting here showing me her titties. It's a great night.
You guys missed it. Near.
How the fuck's it going, everyone? Dre will be back in here in just a minute. Our guest
is on his way.
Fuck him, first off, Mr. Longstreth, not making your fucking post time like you were supposed to. Fuck you. I hope the other guy beats you. I'm just kidding. It happens.
And he made a really big post about it. Everybody should go over to his page and read it. Apologize to us. Apologize to all of you. So props to him.
Life happens. We go live at 8. Our guest will probably be here like 8:30, 8:40. We'll probably go a little late tonight because of that. And I'll be a fucking zombie at work tomorrow, but that's a Wednesday.
2 of us. 2 zombies. Yeah. Not okay.
Yeah, I mean, today was already bad enough. Like, fucking Elfie got into an accident today.
What the fuck, dude?
Some dumbass hit her on the interstate from behind. So here's what happened. You ready?
Yeah.
Not if you're ready. Okay. So she was getting, it's on.
Okay.
She was getting on the interstate. So, Dre, you'll know this. Going from the overpass on Dodge onto 680. You know how you get those assholes who will be in the right lane? They're not trying to get off of the interstate. They're just driving in the right lane because they're assholes. It's a 3-lane interstate. They're in the right lane, and the dumbass with no one in front of him taps his brakes. Doesn't tap them, no, slams them. Elfie slams her brakes. My Jeep has good brakes. She's fine. The car behind her didn't even try. Here's the funny part. Jeeps are superior quality. And we don't have a tire on the back of our Jeep. We just have a rim.
I saw that.
That rim is heavy, and it's metal. It's not plastic. The minivan that hit her from behind was not metal, and it got fucked.
Well, that's what they got. And two, like, seriously, why the fuck are you following that close? People are idiots. People slam on their fucking brakes. Deer run into the road. Dogs run into the road. Cows run into the fucking road. Get up people's asses.
Dickhead. I don't run into the road.
Do you know? Listen, people die in Oklahoma every year. Vehicle versus cow. This is the thing that happens.
I lost it. Well, so I wasn't alive, but my great uncle died on a motorcycle from hitting a cow. That's why my mom wouldn't ride on a motorcycle forever.
Oh, because it was a motorcycle, not the collision.
A total fucking biker babe after that, but whatever.
I mean, you think you guys have seen a car after it's hit a deer, right? And how fucked up it is. Oh, yeah. Imagine that hitting a cow.
Oh, the cow walks away from that too. Like, the cow doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, cows are like, what just happened?
I mean, I guess you could break the cow's leg if you hit it right, but if that cow leans into it, nah, fuck you, bitch.
I'll tell you what else. Like, I used to laugh at those people who like got hurt hitting a cow in their car. Like deer are they're quick and nimble and they sprint out of nowhere, right? But a cow, until I started doing some work with a rancher in town, and let me tell you, those motherfuckers can haul ass.
Oh man. Crap.
Yeah. Oh shit. This is what I've been meaning to do for 5 minutes. See, you started when I wasn't ready. I didn't have shit plugged in. I didn't turn off my sound. I'm just all discombobulated.
Fucking shit, man.
Thank you, Carrie. The man cold is definitely a killer. But I'm strong. It's a little more dangerous because I've got that diabetes right now, but I'm going to fight through it.
Did you say diabetes? Is that like 18 sides or what, man?
The more fun names we can have for it, the better, you know?
Diabetes.
I have the diabetes. It means I take in too much sugar.
Oh my God, the diabetes. You've discovered the diabetes.
Rolled a hit.
I don't understand. I don't know. I just think what? I don't understand how I don't have it. Like, everything that I eat is basically going to be sugar at one point in time. All I eat is pasta and
so here's the
potatoes.
thing. It's actually about here's how diabetes works. It's when your insulin level is too high, too often, for too long. So you can, people who do intermittent fasting don't get diabetes, really.
So diabetes is about a fucked up pancreas. That's what it's about.
Well, yeah, that's where you end up. Yeah.
Okay. For whatever reason, injury, insult, diet, sedentary lifestyle, bad genetics,
this is an
the
important
lottery of all of them.
It is better for you to watch us on our main page, Daniel, so that you can comment and we will be able to see it and put it up on the screen.
However, we can see them from YouTube if you're watching live. And what's the other one?
Twitch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So if you're watching us live on any of those three, but on Facebook, you have to be on our own page, on the D&D page, for us to see your comments.
Yeah, look, diabetes is about a fucked up pancreas. That's what it's about.
But it's you fucking your pancreas up by
sometimes.
Well, yeah, there's
not always.
There's the other kind of diabetes that you get as like a kid.
Well,
and
there's a lot of
other things that can cause it.
Right.
But in America, let's be honest, most diabetes is because people like me are fat fucks, eat too much sugar and drink too much pop.
I mean, there oftentimes as a genetic component. There are cases where because of car accident or jet ski accident, somebody's pancreas is destroyed, and that will create a problem, right? So it's insult, injury, disease, different disease processes, sometimes bad sepsis infections, abdominal rupture, different things can cause it. So, and some people, unfortunately, just hit the lottery, right? So they've got a genetic component. They live below the poverty line, which means really the foods that you can afford are not foods that are great for you. They're probably not participating in things like outside rec programs, largely because of money and access. They probably don't have money or access to regular medical care, which also increases stuff. In those same types of situations, we tend to see increased incidences of addiction. So alcoholism, drug abuse, all of those things can help. Lots of bad things can happen.
Eric.
Fucking Eric.
God damn it.
Ray needs to fix her camera. All I see is tread on me, and all I can think is, yeah, baby, yeah. It's funny because when you aim that joke at Dre, it's like, okay, that's like the one person who wouldn't be like, that's interesting. Let's talk about it.
She'd be like, what the fuck did you just say?
And Erin's going to be like, hey, yeah, that sounds like fun. I'm going to be like, I mean, not me, but I might like do some swinger shit with you, dude. Like, my wife's cool. Your significant other is really cool. Let's, get together and we'll rub beards or something. Dre's like, no, I only have missionary sex with the lights out. Leave me alone.
In a garment. While wearing a garment.
Right, we have those magical sheets with the holes in them.
Dre should have been born Mormon.
Oh my God.
John has never seen her naked.
Nope. We're gonna
my God. Hey, Christian.
So, pause, because it is rare that we get this treat. Our boy Christian is in the house.
Hey,
the man who designed that awesome logo that we have, that does all that awesome film work for. Look, Joshua Smith is a fucking loser, but Christian makes him look fucking.
Wow,
that was fucking hard.
It's getting real today.
I love Josh, but Christian looks way cooler than he really is.
You guys, here's the deal, though. If you reach out to Christian to do graphic and video work for you, and seriously, you should, but pay him.
Pay him.
We can't really say that because we haven't paid him yet.
We did. He offered. We didn't reach out to him.
Right. So
we weren't out with our hand out. You know what I mean? Christian's like, hey, you guys want me to do a logo for you? We're like,
Carl, we're not friends anymore.
No, you don't. This is a joke about Dre, actually. We'll get there in a second. But Christian, we are actually, we're going to pay Christian at some point.
Yeah, Christian is on the list.
Yeah.
So, Erin, you didn't watch any of my interviews.
Christian, you are going to get.
Look, I tried to watch your interviews, and I love you, but all I could hear was.
That was one of them. We immediately found a room, and it was Mark Whitney. You know what, you guys? There's always a room. There's always a room.
Fucking accept payment. We'll give you a shirt or something.
He's getting a shirt, God damn it.
Christian, if you won't accept payment, you gotta at least let us take you to a strip club, man.
And by this strip club, she means she'll just take you up into her room and give you a lap dance.
No, you gotta take him to a strip club. We gotta get him like fangirled over. And
Yeah.
if Dre and I take him, man, he will be the hottest commodity in the fucking strip club. You walk into a strip club with 2 women, you are the shit.
When I went to a strip club one time, alone, well, not alone, but with like some friends, and then one time with my ex-wife, and the time with my ex-wife was a lot more, we'll say, a lot more happened. And I got away with
a lot of attention. Yeah.
Look, women, as a woman in a strip club, I can get away with murder. It is bisexual heaven.
Because, and the thing, like, at the strip club I went to, and I didn't know this at first, like, you're not supposed to touch.
Well, guys aren't.
Right. Women, like, my ex-wife was basically just shoving her tongue down this girl's throat, and the money was raining in, and the girl's obviously, like, continuing this because
she's
this
making
is
bank.
probably the most money she made that week.
Yeah.
Last time I was at the strip club, the strippers were trying to take my clothes off. I'm like, no. There's hardly anything here already. I'm good. That's you guys'.
Look, I went. There's one in town, and I thought, well, I'm gonna hop him up in there and see what's going on. Laziest fucking strippers I've ever seen in my life. Like, the one girl is literally sitting on the side of the stage, with like legs swinging.
What?
Like, visiting with somebody. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? And so the owner comes over, right? Because when you're a chick in a strip club, the owner always comes over. He wants to, like, VIP you and shit. And he's like, hey, haven't seen you in here before. And I'm like, no, I'm not likely to come back. And he's like, what's the problem? I'm like, you got the laziest fucking girl I've ever run across. And he's like, well, in her defense, that pole doesn't spin. So she'd have to really just work. She's a stripper, for fuck's sake.
I just found out that they fucking spin.
They don't all.
And I was know that they spin.
Yeah, they don't all spin, but
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was giving these chicks way more credit. And I'm like, oh my God, look at the core strength. You know what I mean? I'm not even looking at the chick's ass. I'm like, look at her abs. Or there has to be abs under there somewhere, I'm assuming.
The ones that spin are like, seriously, nah. It's easy. This is not, they're not running a marathon.
Right.
So yeah, let's circle back. I don't take a bath I actually did take a bath tonight, Eric, but that was just to soak my back because it's fucked.
Ooh, Eric wants your sweaty ball bath water.
But circling back, we do need to talk about how great Joe Jorgensen's hair is. It's so shiny, guys.
Fucking A.
How high were you?
I
Drunk
really wasn't. So these fucking bitches are feeding me hard alcohol in the afternoon. I cannot do hard alcohol. And I can't taste it. So I'm just like, woo. And they're in really small glasses. And at one point, apparently, I switched to wine. And this is all hours before I got a hold of anybody to do any interviews.
Oh.
So luckily, Caitlin was there, Cloven from Think
Oh, thank God.
And her and Joe Jorgensen and I go into a room 3 separate times to do an interview. And at one point, Caitlin is asking Joe very serious questions, I'm sure, about her campaign. And I look over and I'm like,
wait, you let her social media manager ask her the questions about her campaign? Can you get more softball than that?
I know, right? Oh my God, it was too late. I drank too much. I admit it. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to everyone I interviewed. I am sorry, and I will make it a point to never.
No, because that Kokesh interview was actually gold.
I'm too embarrassed to watch it again. I watched it once. That's enough.
Oh, by the way, everyone, April 7th, we have a hard confirmation from the Kokesh campaign and a soft confirmation from the Berman campaign. We're going to have them both on since they're kind of the fan favorites. And they're our favorites, they're our homies. So we're going to have them on and they're going to fight. Have a competition about who could be nicer to each other because they're both just fucking.
We should totally find an old set of like Rock'em Sock'em robots for the convention and make the candidates fight it out.
I have Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Wouldn't it be cool to see which candidate won? No, it's a game, right? So you play the game.
You have the little knobs on it, and you. Yeah, I've got that. You know,
That's
I
what
probably
we
don't
should
have
do.
it. The dog or the kid's probably broken. I'll have to get it again.
You know what we should do instead of just having our candidates stand up there and give us their pitch and dog whistle to us by saying taxation is theft or fuck the police or whatever it is that they're all going to say, right? We should have them run through a libertarian version of Tough Mudder.
I apologize. I do have to make a programming note here, mostly for John. Here's the thing. You cannot subscribe to us on Twitch yet. We need a certain number of views, a certain number of average live viewers, and all of that kind of stuff. So here is my ask. If you watch us on another platform, watch us on Twitch if you have Twitch so that we can get those numbers up, because if we get our numbers up on Twitch, we can get subscribers. And a subscriber gives you, it's like, it's a $5 subscription, but you get like $3.50. Except you can get someone's free subscription from Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you automatically have Twitch Prime, which means you have a free subscription every month.
Oh.
And if you give that to us, we get like $2.50 of it, which is awesome. So please watch us on Twitch or do what John is doing.
Yeah, watch us on both.
Put us up on Twitch and on Facebook. Mute us on one of them and just fucking hang out with us. Help us get our numbers up.
Yeah, and help us.
I'll cheat. I don't fucking care.
Wouldn't you guys rather see like a capture the flag for the POTUS nomination than these debates?
Yes, but it has to be each candidate has to have like 4 of their advisors too.
Right. And like paintball battle, climb a rope cargo net, do a zip line, do a ropes course. I want to see some down and dirty bullshit.
Okay, so pause. You're guaranteeing that Adam wins the nomination at that point.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly stayed in shape from his military.
Well, we absolutely have to include like a Magic the Gathering match and like, yeah, you nerd it up a little bit, you geek it up a little bit. Who can install a soundboard in a computer fastest? Yeah, we did the whole 9 yards.
I really did enjoy the debate in Iowa because I was there live and because I did get to boo Lincoln Chaffee and scream, answer the question. This is only after I looked over and saw the convention head doing it as well. So she was also.
So Dan Fishman says we should make an instruction sheet.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
For people with Prime.
That's a good idea.
So first we have to get to the
point sell the Rubik's Cube.
So please, everyone, go over to our Twitch. I posted the link. I'm gonna post it again. Actually, it's twitch.tv/drunk disorderly media.
Right, D&D. It's really easy. We're easy to remember.
And it's got our logo, so you'll see it. Like it's pretty obvious that it's us. And we're live right now, so you should be able to find us pretty easy.
Plus, Twitch will be where
gaming content.
Where our gaming content is going to be, where our live Dungeons and Dragons tournaments will be, where that kind of stuff will be. So you definitely want to have it.
Man, this is why this is why we went. Oh, we have a Patreon, by the way. We'll pimp that later. This is why we keep asking for money. Honestly, it's so that one or two of us can work a little bit less and do a little bit more content. Like, legitimately, any money that we make is going to go into making the podcast bigger and better. That is what we are trying to do. Also, thank you to the people who are watching us on YouTube. YouTube is something that we are trying to grow too. We're getting a lot of momentum off of Caleb's stuff. Dude, I love Caleb's shit. I'm so glad he started making stuff for us again.
Yeah, I'm digging the shit out of Deepish Thoughts. Really cool. If you haven't checked it out, you should absolutely check it out. If you guys have ideas for shows that you'd like to see, hit us up. Dre and I are both looking for ideas. If
you want to do a show on our network, hit us up. We'll talk. We have what am I trying to say? We have a couple people that we're in talks with, but realistically, we want shows every night. Sometimes 2 or 3. We are not a podcast. We are building a media network, and it doesn't have to be video. If you want to just do audio, that's fine. We have our vibrant audio.
If you want to just blog and provide written content, we have
our website is
for that too.
We have a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm going nuts because I'm working 50-hour weeks right now. trying to help get this stuff going, and most of it's falling on Dre because I'm working a 50-hour week, and Erin has to schedule time to like masturbate quietly for every couple of days. That's where Erin's at right now.
Yeah, I'm quickly approaching like just joining a convent because.
Good message. If you hear a beep and chirp coming from your smoke detector, it needs servicing. Mine has a light that goes on that says, "Hey, I'm still working," and that light goes off at night every couple of minutes, and it drives me crazy. But I know it's working. I sleep in a room that I'm not supposed to. So.
When we do start the Pornhub live streaming, it's gonna be behind a paywall on a premium channel. So save up your coins.
You guys, look. If you guys want to see us if you guys want to pay the money to clear us, oh God, I just lost my thought. 1 sec. There we go. There it is. So if you guys want to put enough money for Erin to come up here and me to go down there and just watch her beat the shit out of me for an hour on Pornhub, we'll do it. But you gotta pay us enough to make it worth our time.
Yeah, and dude, like I'm not even a switch, but for you guys, I will go there.
Right, and I because I'm a switch, I can't do it to Erin. Look, if you understood BDSM stuff better, you'd get it. Why that wouldn't work?
Yeah, I don't. My archetype doesn't play well with switchy people.
I'm gonna star in it.
We have the best fans.
Well, he knows all the buttons too. Let me tell you.
Who? Eric? Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of these days, I'm gonna feed his fucking ego, and I hate this. Do
it!
I'm going to go out there for a weekend, and we're just gonna sit down and be like, explain to me how to corral this bitchy little redhead that I deal with every night, because she's a bit difficult for me sometimes because I'm not like a.
Dude, he already told you.
Dumb.
He already told you.
No, that he taught me how to deal with you, not Elfie.
No, I'm telling you, the wall thing, that would work.
You look, that conversation that's been going for the last 2 days, this has been my life for 3 years. It's her trying to figure out what the fuck her issue is. I love her to death. This has been a fun ride. It's been really frustrating at points. You guys have seen those messages. But look, I love my wife.
So like, truth.
And she's going crazy right now.
Like, truth, no bullshit truth. You guys need to get out. You need to go to munches. You need to go to demos. You need to find a local club. You need to find local events. And if you need help with that, let me know, and I will drop you some links and set you off. Because
so there's what the fuck? There's Midwestern
I
alternative.
don't like to go out.
We've been going out way more lately, have we not? Be honest.
Look, be picky.
Does it count if it's for an hour?
Yeah.
All right.
If you're a hardcore introvert, fuck yeah.
Be picky about what events you attend and what groups you network with. Make sure they're vetted.
There's a party that's a really safe place where we know a couple people. We go there when we can. With money being the way it's been since November, it hasn't happened. But this month, Jesus Christ, I'm almost current on all my bills again. It's really like my student loans I don't fucking care about because, they're student loans. Who cares? And then like my power bill is a little out of control, but they don't turn off the power ever. So it's like, okay, homie, I sent you some money. Give me some time and I'll get you caught all the way back up.
Dude, my power here, it's pay as you go, like old school cricket.
Oh my God.
You get a notification. Your account balance is now $57.42. Every day you get a notification.
Oh my God. That's kind of crazy.
Welcome to rural America.
That seems like, well, I guess it's automated, but still.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at saying it. This podcast has had the plus of making it easier for me to say the word rural. If nothing else good comes of this, at least there's that.
Rural.
Can you say mural?
Mural.
What about the Ural Mountains?
I think it's Ural, actually.
I think it's not.
I think it is.
Like, I bet it's not. I promise you.
Ma'am, I was homeschooled, okay?
Clearly!
Don't clearly. You know that makes me smarter.
Oh.
So yeah, we
shit.
actually have some. After all these talks we've been having, we have some major like diversity in platforms right now. We got people watching us on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube in like real numbers. So thank you, everyone. I am watching all the chats, so if you say something, it doesn't matter where you say it, I will see it, and if it's good, I'll put it up on the screen.
Unless you're watching on a watch party. If you're watching on a watch party, he may not see it.
Yeah, I won't see that. I'm not even watching my watch party right now, so
I don't watch mine either.
I mean, I don't watch it, but I try to keep an eye on the comments. But
yeah,
this has been a fun episode so far, actually.
Oh, sweet.
Max is.
I still want to know what the fuck a diabetes looks like.
So, it was originally it was a meme where a kid was saying, "I don't want to die of the beatus." But being the gaming nerd that I am, I eventually got to it's the diabetes. So I just picture this like really fat, misshapen D20 that I roll, and it's never going to roll certain numbers.
Dude, you've got to hide a diabetes in a trunk in a D&D game, in a tournament. And depending on what somebody rolls, that's how much their mass multiplies by. If they find the diabetes. Come on, that would be hilarious. One of my favorite ones, one of my buddies in high school that we played all the time, John's character got beheaded, and so he cast a resurrection spell, came back as a half-orc, a female half-orc, so he named her Beheaded.
Oh, Laura's over here. Bring your redhead to me. I'll teach her a thing or two. No, I do not trust my redhead.
Look at the next one. Look at the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Oh, that would be fun.
So here's the thing. So I think Laura actually missed this. Elfie is no longer a dom. God, how much do I want to get into my sex life? Oh, fuck it. Let's go. So Elfie has been on this quest of self-discovery for a while. And the dom thing was because she's not a really good submissive. And I've been trying to tell her this for a very long time. You're not submissive. You're like primal prey. And she never listened. But now she's basically discovering I've been right the whole time.
Well, here's the other thing, though. Don't say she's not a good submissive. That makes me cringe. It makes me cringe when I hear that.
Right. We should probably stop this though, because our guest just showed up.
She just hadn't properly discovered and identified her archetype, and now she has.
Hopefully. What's up, dude?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Richard.
Appreciate y'all's patience.
Oh, no problem.
So yeah, you just got set up, and yeah.
We've been talking about my sex life this whole time. You want to chime in?
I mean, I don't have any personal experience there, so I don't know how much I could contribute. So.
Yeah, this is usually where I'm just like, okay, and I live and learn about what goes on.
She's just figuring out her archetype, and that's really normal and really common. And I think a lot of people read that 50 Shades of shit and thought that they were something that they weren't, or envisioned themselves as being something that they aren't. And a whole lot of people went out and tried a bunch of shit that they didn't have any fucking business trying, because that's how you kill people. You pretend to be a dominant and you swing a flogger and you bruise somebody's kidneys.
Please don't hit kidneys.
Jesus.
Okay. Also, remind me later to tell you something I saw about that, Erin.
Yeah, I saw it too. That's why I said that bullshit.
Okay.
Do not fucking promote yourself as a dominatrix if you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. If you want to learn, call me. I will help you. But stop promoting yourself as a professional when you have no training, because that's how people get killed. And people who legitimately practice this lifestyle, that's how new laws get written that prohibit us from legitimately practicing our lifestyle. So, like, if you're a wannabe who doesn't want to be a wannabe anymore, reach out and get some fucking education. But don't fuck around with people.
We really need to switch gears because our guest is looking like he stepped into the...
Sorry.
I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm just having to catch up a little bit in more ways than one.
Oh, here we go. Longstreth. Is that a porn star name? Are we finally doing the orgy?
Well, he could tell you, but then
And your first look, you have the perfect first name for it. I'm sorry.
Funny story there. When I was in college, when I first got to college, I did join a fraternity. I told them, look, guys, you can call me any name you want to call me. My name's Richard. I'll go by anything. And just two things. One, don't call me Rick. That's my dad's name. And two, don't call me Dick. Guess what my name was in college?
Rick Dick.
Dick Longstretch the entire time. I had jerseys
made
made with
Dick
it.
Long. It's shorter and easier to get out.
That was a nickname for it. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually dated a guy once whose last name was Longstaff.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and it was, so it was okay.
Well, you know, when the name fits, it helps.
Miles long.
So you are running for vice chair in the Libertarian Party.
Yes.
And apparently you're a porn star. What is it like being a porn star running for vice chair?
Stop. Oh my
God. I wouldn't really know, to be honest with you. I think there's a little bit of a misconception there. So,
Just a little bit. Let's clear that up. Go ahead.
So no, it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying traveling the country, getting to meet a lot of different people, talk about different outlooks on kind of what they'd like to see done at a national level and how we can better support the affiliates, better support our candidates. And it's just it's a blast. It's exhausting, but it's an absolute blast. Yeah,
you've been the Region 1 representative for this last cycle, and Region 1 is what, almost half the country.
Yeah, it's 11 states. It's quite large. It's pretty much you draw a line down the center of the Midwest through the Great Plains, and half the states are everything going to the west is part of Region 1, except for California and Nevada. So,
well, you've also got Alaska and Hawaii though too, right? So I mean, you're traveling all over the place just to get from. So you've got Kansas and Alaska.
Yep.
Wow.
Kansas to Alaska to Hawaii, it's and everything in between. So even Montana, throw that in there. It's I mean, these are places of very different kind of geographic and culture things in our country, and they all come together under one region in the Libertarian Party, which is kind of cool. But it also has its unique challenges, of course. But try to make it work, and I think I've done a pretty decent job. Nobody's complained in my face, at least. So
I do have to say thank you to Region 1 for taking Kansas so that Region 6 didn't have to.
Hey, Region 7 would have taken them. We will happily take Kansas.
That's
up there.
I think Kansas is happy in Region 1, and I also think where Francis Wentz is heading up the negotiations, and we're hoping to hopefully get Idaho affiliated with Region 1 as well. We'll see if that pans out or not, but we're working on it.
We just got North Dakota affiliated in the last cycle, so that was cool.
Yep. I think everybody should be affiliated. I think having a region rep is a big thing, and having somebody that you can talk to directly on the LNC is a great thing. It's a great service too. It's eye opening what you get to learn from people when you're in that sort of role, and I've really enjoyed it.
Sorry with my face. I just really realized something that just came to me.
What?
Like this woman came up to me at the convention this weekend in Iowa, and she said that she recognized me or she remembered me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I do not remember her at all. It just dawned on me. She came up to me the very first year I was in Iowa, upset that there was a pro-life booth there, and I'm like, well, that's
I remember
that. You know what? Me and my who was there? I think it was Heather. We were there for Roads to Freedom, and we're both pro. Yeah, you were there too. We're both pro-choice.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, pro-life is a choice. I mean, I'm not going to stand in her way to be pro-life. Like, that's her choice.
Look, as long as she's not trying to use the government gun against you, why do you care?
That was our exact
Exactly.
point. And that was Jocelyn's booth, and I hadn't even met Jocelyn at the time, and I was already sticking up for her.
You know, that was so funny. And then that whole crew, that whole original Roads to Freedom crew, we came from everywhere, every faction, every caucus, every belief system, and pulled off the unconvention and had a kick-ass fucking time doing it. And that's where we came from. Like this came from that. So
Yep.
even though Zach Zach's sitting there going, "Let's not talk about the shit show."
Oh no, I'm down. Let's do it. I'm just saying, like, I think that's where my not disdain, but complete disinterest for Ron Paul came from. Was that whole fiasco?
Oh, the unconvention.
Yeah,
that was kind of a nightmare.
Like I was never a Ron Paul guy. I was already a libertarian before he was really running for president. So for me, it was just like, I don't get why who brought you to the ideology is that big. Because if anything, you could say Stefan Molyneux is the one that got me like really active in the party, and that guy's a fucking train wreck now.
Holy fuck! I came to the party from the punk scene, right? Because I heard Neil Bortz talking about libertarians, and I was like, "Ooh, I should check them out." So I did. Found the party, started hanging around. Neil fucking Bortz. Come on, nobody holds him up as a good libertarian.
So anyway.
If I came to you guys and said, "Hey guys, I have this opportunity. We could maybe book Neil Bortz as a speaker for the national convention. I just need to pay him $20,000." Would you be excited about that? I wouldn't.
I don't even know who that is. I after I found out how much we paid Dr. Paul to come, I was a little upset about that, especially considering we also had to fit the bill for private security just for him to and from the venue and while he was there.
Look, I cautioned against it from the beginning. However, the powers that be didn't want to hear it.
So anyway, redirecting.
Let's redirect.
Why are you running for vice chair?
Why would you want that job?
Sorry, welcome to the rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, it's fun. So I'm running for vice chair because I think that we have strayed a little bit from our grassroots over the last couple of years. If you look back in the last 10 years, we had a kind of a reinvigoration of the libertarian movement, and it's still there. The people are still interested, but they're becoming independent. And I think that we need to refocus on our grassroots, and I intend to do that by focusing specifically on affiliate support, really developing resources for the affiliates. I've talked to a lot of people. There's no reason the Libertarian Party National shouldn't have a basic county in a box plan, a basic state in a box plan. These types of things that can help anybody develop. Yes.
Can I recommend basic video, audio, and visual media in a box plan? Because
absolutely,
it drives me nuts. The Libertarian Party of Chicago just canceled their presidential live stream because apparently they couldn't make it happen. And it's not that hard. I guarantee you this is someone. They did not get someone who has a basic understanding of how to do it.
Well,
and
seriously,
I'm getting sick of it.
You can do it with a good iPhone. You just need a little bit of knowledge.
Right. And that's the thing. We as a national party have to have better resources for people. And so we have already lpaction.org. Erin and I have worked on the affiliate support committee. There's a lot of good things that I think we can use that website for, and it's been underutilized. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have the time to really develop a lot of those ideas, but I definitely think that the next affiliate support committee, that has to be a focus. And we really need to lean in heavy to affiliate support and coming up with ideas like that. Even things how to fundraise, basics, media stuff, basics, all that sort of stuff. It's stuff that we as a party can easily support more local affiliates just by leaning into, as well as developing projects like the CRM project and things like that, and expanding databases that help the states obviously grow their own parties and find donors as well. And then I also want to lean into campaigns. I think we've done a really good job over the years of teaching people that we want them or getting people interested in getting on the ballot. But we've done a really, really poor job of supporting those candidates while they run for office. And we've done an even poorer job once they get in office supporting them. And so oftentimes you see not a lot of re-elections happening from people who win libertarian office because it's not worth it to them. They just don't feel supported. And that's a problem. So I don't know exactly how to approach that 100%, but I know that there are things that we can do, and it starts with basic training and conversations and leaning into things that they say and developing resources as needed.
Holy hell! Sorry, Zach's like messaging me and making me choke.
Can I?
Ooh.
Oh, I don't. That's an Erin question. Erin,
Right,
answer.
Erin.
No, you can't.
Please. Erin's not letting me have fun, guys.
If I give you permission to have fun?
No. Trust me, Richard. Say no.
I don't know. I did arrive late, and so I made it very clear to Dre that I was glutton for some punishment on this one. So
Okay,
I don't want to blow back Erin.
So look, I'm gonna ask the question in a way that won't be so horrible. Do you feel like every member in leadership is there to see us succeed and to support committees and to support people that they put into other leadership positions? People have been kind of who have stepped up and been thrown in the fire, or do you feel like we can do a better job being more supportive of people who are willing to step up and take on those roles?
I think we can be more supportive. I don't think that everybody in leadership has been there for the benefit of our party. I mean, in all ways, all the time. I think that there have been situations. In fact, I know that there have been situations where people have been put in positions and expected to fail. And that's come from various leaders in our party. That's a problem. If somebody wants to step up and do the work, then you train them, you develop them, you monitor them, and you keep an eye on things, but you don't put people in positions where they're set up to fail or just if everybody has a right seat on the bus. And so you've got to help train people and put them on the right seat on the bus. And sometimes that means having honest conversations with people and developing them in that sense. But no, I don't think, I don't think everybody in leadership right now has had that kind of focus on development and for our party.
Y'all want to name names?
Would you stop it? You're trying to get people in trouble that are on
How are
the
you going to get in trouble? They're not fucking employees. They can have opinions about their coworkers.
Well, I don't know. I can't say. I don't sit on the LNC, and I'm not a region rep, so I'm just going to be quiet.
I feel like for the most part, this current incantation of the LNC has worked really well together.
I have noticed a lot of cohesion when I watch it.
I do feel like there are a few members who tend to vote with the majority, whatever that is, who never really want to take a stand, and I think that's sad. But you guys know me, right? Like, I am not afraid to look somebody in the eye and say, "What the fuck did you just say?" Right? Like, but some people are, and I get that. At the same point, you were all elected. All of us were elected to do the best job that we could to represent our regions. And if you're never active in your region, if you're not reaching out in your region, if you're not trying to communicate with your region, and you're just sitting up there trying to not make waves, I don't know that makes you particularly effective.
Right.
I'm sorry. Something way more important just happened, so we need to jump in here.
Let's do it.
That furry creature walking behind you?
What?
Do you have a dog, sir?
Me? Yes.
We need a doggo on camera, obviously.
We must see the doggo.
We're very animal friendly here. Usually my cats are crawling on me.
Oh,
what a sweetheart. She looks like, is it okay if I do this right now? What's her name? Is that a girl or a boy? Sorry.
It's a girl. Her name is Pandy. We actually named her Pandora, but and it was based off of my partner's Jake. He had never had a dog before, and so when we got her, we were opening Pandora's box with his basically first dog. That got shortened to Pandy, and yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's like 3 years old, I think. So
she's beautiful,
very sweet.
We actually did a DNA test on her. She's part Australian Shepherd, part Husky, part Basenji, and part something else that I can't remember. So she does yodel. I'm surprised she didn't bark as soon as I snapped her over. Yeah, no, she's a lot of fun.
Those are all barky dogs.
What's that?
Those are all barky dogs.
I know,
yeah.
right?
My Aussie is outside right now, and I'm like praying he doesn't get near this window because everybody will hear him. Does she have the Aussie energy?
Oh yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I swear, the first 10 minutes I got home, I honestly was trying to get on, but she would not stop jumping and wanting to play and get some sort of attention. So it was absolutely adorable, but that delayed me a little bit longer. But she's got attention, and she's only 3 years old too, so she's still a real young dog and everything else. So she's a ball of energy. I would actually like to get another one, but it's easy for me to say because I'm not home very often with my job and travel and everything else. So that's up to Jake to decide.
Yeah, what does Jake say about that?
Not for now. He said we have to get out of Arizona first.
Having two is easier than having one, in my opinion, because they play with each other.
Yeah,
You have to feed more, but that's really food and water is really the only.
Sometimes
I would think it would depend on the dog. Like, what if their next dog was really naughty and got the other dog into trouble? Like that
for sure. We used to dog sit a dog.
Yard, or do you like take them out on a leash?
Well, with her, I take her out on a leash. But if I had a yard, she can run around the yard free.
Yeah, that's the question. If you have a yard, it's easier to have two. If you have leashes, then it's
I think it depends on the dogs because with Maggie and Rowdy, Maggie is really careful with her stuffed toys. Right, those are her babies. She had toys that she had for years, and then we get Rowdy as a puppy, and he's like, "Oh, some shit I can tear up," because he's an Aussie, and that's what they do. And he's got to get appendages off of them and get the squeakers out of them. And he gives it back to her, this deflated sack with a little bit of fluff coming out. And she will lay on the floor and pull that fluff out and cry because he's and just cry. Because and you can't keep him out of them. She'll get a toy and then he gets near her and because she's growling with this toy in her mouth and she's like, I'm going to fuck you up now. And it just depends on the dogs.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but that's how my dog is. Like she gets anywhere near a stuffed animal or anything, it's gone. She's good with pillows though. She doesn't tear up pillows.
He doesn't either. Just toys. Yeah.
Our pit bull tears up everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a pit bull.
Oh, did I tell you guys the thing about her name that I completely fucked it up?
No.
So I've been calling her. So she's Stormy. And she was named after Brigitte Stormbow from the Wheel of Time series. Except I'm old and forgetful, and it's actually Brigitte Silverbow, not Stormbow. So this dog is now Stormy, but we can't call her Brigitte Stormbow. So fuck it, it's Stormy Daniels now, bitches.
Yep, I was gonna say it's been Stormy Daniels since I can remember.
Oh my god,
that's a great turn. I love it.
So, anyways, you guys, when I used to take my cats on walks, taking two cats on a walk is very challenging because they do not have any interest in going the same direction.
Why are you walking a cat? It's a fucking cat.
They like to run around outside.
All right, so you guys like animals. Here's my cat.
Oh.
I had to coax him over. That's what I kept turning around.
Now, you don't take him for walks, do you?
No, I do not take him for walks. His name is Oliver because Jake wanted to name him Orphan when we got him because he was an orphan. And I said, no, we're not calling a cat Orphan. So I came up with the next closest thing, Oliver Twist. So Oliver, there you go.
So next question, does your cat have a toilet? Because Dre's does.
No, he has a litter box. That's all.
Well, if you would like to have your cat never have dirty, dusty paws ever again, you can invest in the cat genie. It's only about $300, and you never have to refill the litter. You just there's a lot.
That actually sounds amazing. But another
awesome.
advantage of hardly ever being home. I don't get to see the dog very often. That's sad, but I don't have to take care of the litter box very often either. And that sounds horrible. I'm sorry, Jake, when you listen, it is what it is.
So from now on, you
just
change cartridges out rather than deal with litter.
If you have a dog and a cat with one of those, the dog's going to fucking drink out of it, right? There's no way that doesn't happen.
That's true. Our litter box we have to put behind a baby gate. Otherwise, it's a buffet.
So the dog would have to drink out of it. It would have to be its head would have to be in there while it was running. There's only water in there while it's running and cleaning, doing a cleaning cycle.
Every time you talk about your cat's toilet, I flash back to Meet the Fockers. I can't help it.
That is awful.
I picture your cat using your toilet.
Also, wait, real quick.
I did try to train them on my toilet. I came.
Oh my god!
Did you really?
I did.
Wow. I'm impressed. I mean, that takes a lot of patience. Good for you. Good for you. Obviously, it didn't work out though. So
we have a bunch of.
Hey,
did you get close?
I'm getting a text.
One of them was totally peeing in the toilet, and one of them was like, I don't know.
I'm getting a text saying Joe Biden won Oklahoma. I haven't verified that yet, so if you're watching.
Tim Ruff is winning North Carolina.
Yeah, everybody who was saying that this was going to be Sanders, sorry. No, I didn't think so, especially when the three pulled out yesterday. No way. It's Biden. The establishment.
The pullout game was strong yesterday.
Pull that
Yeah.
thing.
The establishment's buckling down. It's going to be, the worst timeline, probably most boring timeline for sure. So it is what it is.
Listen,
The
I
the
will
vice
only.
president and secretary of state and foreign secretary all just resigned from the presidential race yesterday, didn't they?
If Biden does get it, and I've said this time and time again on this show, and I'll say it again, I think it will be so fun to see Trump call him sleepy, creepy Uncle Joe on stage. I'm sorry.
Look, what is creepier than Trump versus creepy Uncle Joe?
Right?
I mean, I agree there.
Like, this is the shit that little girls have nightmares about.
I don't know. Is there
And
picture
boys.
after picture after picture of
And little boys.
Trump
Little boys have
sniffing
nightmares
little
about
kids?
this.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the whole thing about Trump saying that if his daughter wasn't his daughter, he'd date her when she was like 16.
Gross. But that's like one
creepy at all.
comment. We don't
That's
have
not creepy.
dozens of photographic
Look,
evidence.
When you're talking about a father talking about his teenage
Oh, dude,
daughter, that
obviously,
one
I'm
comment
being
is more
sarcastic.
than
That
enough.
is super creepy. Let's be serious. Anybody that thought I was serious, not serious. It's creepy.
There's a lot of photos of Trump out there being like kind of handsy with his daughter. Like, it's weird.
Yep.
I've seen a couple, but
We know
I
he's
don't think
never been
said
shy about
anything
being
on
handsy
Joe.
with other people's daughters, right?
So I do want to say real quick, all the people who are watching us on Twitch and YouTube, please don't forget to follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, hit us up on Facebook. Oh, fuck, I forgot our Patreon. 1 second.
Yeah, because it's new. It's new. That's why he forgot.
Yep.
We're always doing something new.
It's patreon.com/drunkmedia because I'm trying to make this shorter for us. How the fuck does Bloomberg win Samoa? How does that not go to Tulsi?
What?
Samoa is not Hawaii.
Right, but the how do I say this? They are roughly the same people. In so much as they are vastly different.
Nope.
Look, it's like
they're just island nations. That's the only thing they have really in
No,
common.
dude, you literally just said Puerto Ricans or Mexicans. That's literally what you just said.
okay. The base of those races is similar, just like Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. The base races are similar, and obviously they have different cultures. They were separated by thousands of years and travel. I get all that, but it's like saying that the Irish and Scottish are the same race. They're not, but they kind of are.
No, it's not like saying that.
No.
I think it is. I think
It's
they
like
came
saying
from the same stock.
It's like saying that Spaniards who live near the Mediterranean Sea are the same as the Mayans.
I mean,
like-
the Mayans now, kind of.
Because of conquistadors raping and pillaging, not because that's the way it was. No. Look, Samoa is the biggest
We're about to get
employer.
canceled.
The biggest employer in Samoa is the U.S.
Oh yeah, I
government.
got to take another drink on this one.
Right. So here's the deal. It comes down to we're gonna have to go back in time a little bit.
The biggest employer in Samoa is the U.S. government. Would you vote yourself out of a job?
But Tulsi's not trying to shrink government.
Tulsi is anti-war. When we talk about the U.S. government employment in Samoa, it is like something crazy, like 70% military and military contractors.
Oh, no,
That's why everybody who serves with somebody from Samoa. Because
Well,
there's no more jobs at the ammunition plant. That's fucking why.
I'm gonna stand by my statement, and let me get there. Obviously they're different. Where I'm coming from here is when you go back, those islands were settled by people from the same area. They traveled, they settled, and after time, those became two different peoples. I get that. It's the same way a lot of there's like racial. God, I can't fucking talk tonight. Similarities between like a lot of different ethnic groups that look kind of similar because they, the base tribe, I guess, 3,000 or 4,000 years ago would have been the same group of people. And those groups are kind of distinct from each other, but the subgroups within them have similarities.
the same similarities that we have to the Scottish.
Well, I'm Scottish.
You,
What do you mean?
dude, you're talking about thousands of years. Like these have been very different
I'm
cultures
talking
and
about thousands of years.
very different people since way pre-Captain Cook. Okay,
Right, but
before the Hawaiians killed him
right. So here's my deal,
for
though.
nails. They killed him
They
for
are
nails.
part of a nation where everyone else is a different, like completely different ethnicity. They have ethnic similarities because of a long-standing shared ancestry with the other island nation or the other island people that are part of the nation. That's where I was coming from.
Look, here's the deal. Tulsi is very staunchly anti-war.
Uh-huh.
If you live in Samoa, war is how you eat.
And that's a good explanation. I'm still standing by my.
It's a good explanation.
I mean,
My
that's
4,000 years of human history.
yeah. We're trying to skirt the nonsense that's going on up in that corner, this corner. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that
this is really confusing, actually.
It's the Brady Bunch.
Right.
Yeah, and Bloomberg was endorsed by the major chief in Samoa. So
Jews and Egyptians are the same people group, though. They come from the same stock.
dude, we all come from the same stock if you go back far enough.
If you're gonna go back like
people group.
if you're gonna go back like 20,000 years, yes, I'm talking about like 5
years? Or
5,000. Sorry, 5,000.
Okay.
Be careful. There are some churches that teach that's damn near at creation. There,
You need a
dude.
tag.
That's fair.
Just saying.
That's the
But yeah, like
beginning
4
of
to
the tag.
5,000 years is where like you start seeing civilizations and tribal groups develop. It goes further back than that. Yes, I get it, but that's where you really start seeing like multiple ones coming up in a what?
I never know which one of you to take more seriously. He's homeschooled. I don't really like Erin. I think is smarter than me. I did not
I am
pay
not
attention.
smarter than you.
I skipped school and I was a huge stoner. Like I was booze, boys, and bud.
Okay, so my sophomore year, I attended school 57 days.
Oh,
57
shit.
days. I still had a 3.257, which I contend shows that the failure was on the school then and not on me. If I can only
I think
show
we can
up,
all agree that public schools are garbage. Like,
Look,
I mean,
yeah, like I can show up 57 times, take a test, and jet back out to go get high and breeze through this shit.
Not the best.
we don't want to talk about how I got through college, but I mean, yeah, same thing. Public education is garbage.
Okay,
So,
now
yeah,
we're
I'm
just going back
good.
a little too far, like 50,000 years or so.
Thank you, Francis. He's just highlighting the silliness.
Look, obviously, I'm too inebriated to probably accurately make my point, and I'll probably have to do a video about this at some point because
Don't trust me.
No,
you don't want. Don't.
I don't care. Like, I want to make sure that
Did he just squeak?
I don't think
I think that the way we talk about
I need more gin.
I don't want us to be afraid to talk about like ethnic origins. I think that's really interesting because
I
you get
totally
to follow,
think it is.
you follow people throughout history to like see what their cultures did and all that stuff. It's not like one is better than another. Well, I mean, like the Scottish are clearly better.
Some
than
are clearly better than others.
genetic origins are more
say that.
interesting. I mean, the ethnic origins implies culture and everything else tied to it. Like I find it interesting to know what haplogroups I come from and that sort of thing. So yeah, genetic stuff super interesting, but ethnicity is more than just genetics.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the culture, like I geek out on the cultural part. Like I love. And look, I'm always gonna like defend my people, but the Scots have shitty culture.
Dude, I was looking for places
Everyone
in
else has
Hawaii
way
again.
cooler culture than us. I mean, like, except for bagpipes. Like our bagpipes are fucking cool, and our kilts. Obviously, I wear one, but like everyone else's culture has like these cool intricacies, and like the way it works is where our people just get drunk and fight. Like that's why everyone else's culture is so fucking interesting to me.
Like I was job hunting in Hawaii again yesterday online. because I love the culture and I love the environment, and I just feel very much at peace. There's a couple places, a place in a little town in Colorado that, like, if you guys haven't been, you should go visit Crestone, Colorado. Badass little town.
That's a weird turn. Are they Hawaiians living in Colorado? Like,
it's a spiritual center. So there's a Buddhist temple. There's every religion you can think of is represented in this little bitty town at the foot of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and it's just really.
So here's my.
It's a very intentional community. The only school in town is a charter school. It's really kind of neat.
So I can guess, and I'm not going to speak for the Eastern religions, but like the Mid-Eastern religions are typically going to say that anyone who's going to their church in a location like that is probably fake, because like the hardcores have this thing about you can't get along with people from one of the other Abrahamic religions, or else you're clearly not doing your religion right.
Well, it depends. I mean, the Sikhs certainly don't do that, and that is very much a Middle Eastern religion.
Yep.
That's why I said Abrahamic after that, because I thought about them and
I mean, there are huge groups of Middle Eastern Christians. There are huge groups of Middle Eastern Jews.
All right, that's why I switched to Abrahamic religions, because those are the three that are really bad about it.
They're all, and then even within each of those groups, there are all the subsects, right? Just like with any religion. So
fucking Catholics. That's like the one not Scottish thing about me. I hate Catholics. I don't hate Catholic. I hate the Catholic Church. Like, not even like the local Catholic Church. I'm sure they're fine, but once you start getting like cardinal and bishop level, those are just scumbag people.
Isn't that just kind of like Joel Osteen level too? I mean, aren't they all scumbags at that level?
You can throw him in there too.
So I was at the hardware store last Wednesday, I guess it was. And this is only the second time I've run into one of these freaks with the shit on their head on this day. The first time I was 25 and I was raised Catholic light. I was taking a yoga class and this woman's got this black shit on her head and it's driving me crazy through the entire fucking yoga class.
Oh, it was Ash Wednesday.
I go up to her and pull her aside to politely tell her quietly, as not to embarrass her, that she's got shit all over her head.
Oh my God.
She's like,
dude,
it's Ash Wednesday. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a high holy
day. You should have been better about that, but
she was a total bitch about it. Like, I was trying to be nice. Like, you have stuff on your head and you just taught a class, you know. There's mirrors everywhere, but I was trying to be nice and polite. I actually worked at the fitness club, and she was a total bitch about it. And it took everything.
Shame because look, she missed a wonderful opportunity to share something that's obviously important with you.
You know, that's
here's why.
Yeah, that's absolutely part of what it's about too, is being able to reach out and express it. Like, dude, like that's her loss, because who knows?
I assume, if you have,
you could have been a new convert to Catholicism, you know?
Right, you might have been like, oh wow, cool story. Where do I sign up?
I know if that would have been someone, like, obviously we don't have, I'm Pentecostal, we don't have that tradition. But if that would have been...
now let's talk about Pentecostal tradition.
But let me finish. If someone from our church that I grew up in would have had that kind of situation and somebody else would have seen it, it would have been like in church the next Sunday, the gossip would have gone around. You should have heard Susie. She was being a right cunt to someone in the supermarket.
So I ran into. So you had like no TV growing up?
I got grounded for a week for my mom catching me watching Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, no TV. The girls you went to church with weren't allowed to wear pants or makeup or cut their hair.
We weren't super Pentecostal. We were more like hardcore evangelical than hardcore Pentecostal.
So just speaking in tongues and waiting for an interpretation from somebody else who'd been overcome by the Spirit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I need to
like a hidey ho?
So I grew up Southern. So get this: I was born Catholic. I baptized Catholic as a baby. Was raised Southern Baptist, and then when I was 16 years old, my father decided that we were all of a sudden Catholic, and so the whole family moved back to Catholicism. So I was never confirmed, but I have roots in both, and have definitely experienced.
Oh no!
Yeah, there's.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. But I've definitely seen
Oh,
like
it's
the
okay.
tongues thing and all of that sort of stuff. I've seen a lot of
So-
that. It's different.
What would you consider yourself today?
I'm an agnostic, full blown 100% agnostic. I think there could be something out there. I've seen a lot of shit. I've lived a lot of stuff, and some of that people would borderline say are miracles in some sense. But I just have a hard time leaning into a religion itself. I have a real problem with religion, so I'm spiritual in a lot of ways, but I just don't know what's out there. I don't know that I think that it's a Christian God, a Jewish God, or even a Hindu God out there. I don't know what it is, but I think there could be something out there, and I'm open to maybe one day discovering what that is. And until then, I'm happy just being me and doing what I do.
That's cool. I kind of went the other direction. I was baptized Catholic and kind of sort of raised loosely Catholic. I didn't have to go through any of the, obviously no classes of any sort to teach me what it was about. And then my parents decided my mother decided that they were going to be Southern Baptist born again Christians at some point when I was a teenager. And that's when I became hardcore agnostic and then moved into atheism.
Yeah.
I lived kosher for a year.
Nice.
I lived kosher for a year by choice.
See, and I've always wanted to do stuff like that to experience the culture side of it. Like, there's a lot of culture that goes into religion, and that's the other part that people forget is religion isn't just a belief in a belief system. There's traditions and everything else that come with it. And I think that it'd be really cool to, at some point in my life, just sample a bunch of these different cultures without appropriating or anything like that. Like, I don't want to do it in an offensive way, but like just to like live at, try to live kosher for a year, try to live, Druid for a year, just try these different things that I've never tried before. And maybe the culture sticks and maybe I find it's not for me and I try something different or I move on and stop that eventually. But I think that'd be really neat, really, really fun experience.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about traditions and if they're rooted in something worthwhile. But, a lot of the traditions, if you go back and look, they're simply like there was something about it's supposed to be a religious food thing. And they're like, you got to cut the ends off of this thing for whatever. Well, you go back a couple of generations and you find out they only cut it off so that it would fit in a fucking pan. So it doesn't mean anything. It's just out of
yeah, my grandmother was raised Jewish, my father's mother, and so we celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. We do both. We kind of just let the kids kind of find their own path. For me, my struggle has always been with dogma. I don't have a problem necessarily with religion. I have huge issues with dogma. It feels like authoritarianism to me, and
exactly.
I don't roll with that. There's a really cool book though, Dre, that you might like. It's called God on a Harley. Definitely worth a read. And basically, this chick is at a really low point in her life, and she's standing on a beach, deciding whether or not she's gonna die. And this old dude rolls up on the beach on a Harley and is like, "Hey, we need to talk." And she's like, "Fuck you." And he's like, "Look, dude, here's the deal. I'm God. We kind of need to talk. This isn't okay." And she kind of unloads on him. And she's like, "What the fuck's the deal with the 10 commandments, 10 rules everybody on the planet's supposed to follow?" And he's like, "Yeah, fucked up on that. Sorry." Right? Like,
what's that called again?
God on a Harley. And he's like, "That's why I'm here, right? I'm here to give you your commandments." Because, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have done it. It's kind of a cool look at that and at the dogma of it. And it asks the right questions kind of in this fictional story way. That's pretty cool.
So I grew up in.
Laying of hands.
Oh, this is so hurtful.
So I saw that shit too. I prayed over people and people said that I had healing hands. Truth, 100%. That was my spiritual gift, was healing hands.
Look, at the same time, I will tell you that I've seen the impossible become possible more than once.
Right.
I've seen shit like.
I think we all have in different ways, for sure.
I've seen kids declared brain dead, like leave a hospital alive, and seen them again 6 years later. So I mean, stuff happens.
Yep.
So the our title tonight is something about Super Tuesday, so I do want to throw something Super Tuesday related in. Gabbard won a delegate out of the American Samoa, so that means she
got
goes
a
to
delegate.
the debate. So there's already rumors that they are changing the criteria of the next debate to keep her out.
They're changing the criteria of the debate. No.
You
Yeah,
don't
there's
say.
like-
No, they
Holy
wouldn't
cow.
do that.
There's absolutely no way.
Changing debate criteria at the last minute.
I do declare.
That's never happened before.
Good
Oh, the
God.
bullshit we libertarians have to put up with on a daily basis that most people don't even pay attention to at all.
No, they don't even get it.
It's
don't even get
gross. It's gross, and you know, I let everybody have a chance to be on the debate stage. It's ridiculous the hoops that they jump through, and I'm kind of glad. You know, let Tulsi be slighted, and maybe she'll become a champion for fairer debates. I doubt it, but I mean, this is bullshit, and this is the type of stuff that we as a national party need to be leaning into. Pat Ford, who's the alternate out of Rhode Island. Yeah, he has the idea right now of forming a committee to start focusing on the presidential debates that are upcoming, not for this year, but for 4 years down the road, and laying the groundwork right now to start working on that, acknowledging we're probably not going to get it this time. But he and others, and myself are included in that, are tired of seeing we wait until the last minute. Here we are, 6 months or 9 months roughly from the election, and we are just now starting to talk about debates and are we going to be able to make debates and all that again. We should have been talking about this right after the last election wrapped up. We should have been trying to groom our media exposure. We should have been, trying to make inroads, so that way it was no question if we were going to be even allowed in the polls, that we didn't even have to worry about it, and the debates wouldn't be a question, be something that we knew was coming. And so that's one of those things we've just got to do better at planning on and thinking on and working towards. And
well, part of the problem though, Richard, is like when you look at what they did last cycle. So Johnson starts polling at about 13%. The requirement was to hit 15, right? Yep. So then they changed the polling criteria. It wasn't that he started polling poorly. They changed the polling criteria, and it was really simple. All they did was say in the next polls, we can only include, and we're only going to include likely voters. Do you guys know what a likely voter is? A likely voter is someone who has voted in the last 2 elections, which shut out every millennial vote in the country in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But if we start early, then we see those things coming. I mean, it's no doubt they're always going to throw something up. They're always going to be more creative. They're going to come up with something. But at some point, creativity hits a wall of absurdity, and that's where the Libertarian Party starts to win, because we can stand on principle, and they're just going to keep throwing, spaghetti at the fridge, hoping it sticks, and eventually it's going to stick.
What do you guys think of Adam Kokesh's plan for the debates this year?
I think it's really interesting. I like it. I mean, Adam is a fantastic candidate who has a lot of really interesting ideas. His whole localized campaign is different than anything I've seen before, and I it's admirable what he's doing and how much time and effort he's putting into it. And I'm interested to see how it plays out and where he goes. After the nomination, whether he wins it or not, and the direction he chooses to go, and it's going to be fun. I think he's a power player when it comes to stirring people up and getting stuff done. So
yeah, they excluded cell phones and only included likely voters, and that shut millennials out. Adam's pitch, for anybody watching who doesn't know, is that regardless of whether he wins the nomination, clearly he would like to win the nomination. He's working really hard to do that. But regardless of whether he does or not, Adam's going to gather the largest group of libertarian veterans that he can muster, and we're going to protest in front of the debates. And if they're not going to let the libertarian candidate in, we're not letting the Democratic and Republican candidate in either.
Yep. And
if they want to arrest us all, they can arrest us all. But one way or another, Mark Whitney has said,
and I know Mark Whitney has said the same thing, that regardless, if he's the nominee, regardless, he will be arrested at each debate or he will be participating, period. Right. So I mean, we need more of this aggressive type behavior. I hate to say it. We've been soft for a long time. It's time to step up. Like, let's do it. Let's Let's make some inroads. Let's make some waves and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, well, cool. Then we go back to doing what we've always done.
But I was putting theft magnets on police vehicles.
Yeah, Dan's put taxation.
Nice.
Vermin's out there in the fray. I mean, our candidates are really putting they're walking the talk.
We have a lot of good candidates this go around for sure.
We have look, everyone knows I'm not a huge, I love Vermin, but I'm not a huge fan of him as our candidate. But him, Kokesh, Dan, what's his name? Armstrong? I always forget his name. Like, those guys are going out and doing things to get us into, like, they can't ignore us on the media. Like, that whole live stream of Alex Jones with fucking Dan's magnet on his tank, too.
Right.
Like,
that was awesome.
Yep.
They can't ignore us when we do that. And it's really frustrating to me to see these candidates, like, those guys are at varying levels of strength right now, but they're not the front runner. The front runner to me is the most boring, and I don't want to see. Look, it's Hornberger. I don't want to see him debate Trump. I don't want to see him debate Bernie. He'll get lit the fuck up.
Look, here's part of it, I think, and I get it because I was in that camp for a long time, right? That respectability politics was important. That people weren't going to take us seriously if we didn't come across that way. I've been in that camp. I understand where they're coming from. We've all been there. But the harder I worked and the longer I stayed and the more work I did and the more active I got, the more I came to see that, man, that is just not the way. When you look at what drives change, it is never respectability. Never, never, never.
Well, you can be respectable, but I don't think you can be uncompromising in our principles, and you have to be willing to say what those principles are without hesitation. Like, just throw it out there. I mean, I ran a campaign in 2016 for Colorado's 2nd Congressional District, and to date, I mean, the record hasn't been broken in that area. I beat Ron Paul, and I did pretty well against Jared Polis, a multi-millionaire that I should have been shut out without question. And I got 5.9%. And in that race, I literally went on podcasts, radio shows, public radio shows, and advocated for public citizens being allowed to own tanks. True libertarian position without compromise, and just threw it out there. And because I did that, I think I did exceptionally well. And so every candidate has to know their district and choose to run their campaign their way. But for me, balls to the wall, man. Just throw it out there, and if people like it, they'll respond. And I've had a lot of people respond to a more principled message, a truly principled message, not watered down, not sugar-coated, nothing like that. Just flat out, this is what we are.
So I think where that comes from, and this is how I've thought about it for a while, if you run a campaign where you are too closely mirroring a Republican or a Democrat, you are not giving anyone a reason to pick you, because ultimately they are going to pick the person who is like them and has a chance to win. If there are two people who are like them and only one really has a chance to win, they're going to go with that one. If there is someone who's just radically different and they identify with that person, they're not going to feel like the Democrat or the Republican is like them, because the Democrat and Republican are too far away from the Libertarian, and the Libertarian is the one they're identifying with. So they're not going to bail on us at the polls because there's an actual connection there. You're not too close to the other candidates.
Right. And, personally, that's how I think we grow the party. Now, the national party should be involved in such ideological debates, but I think that's a great technique personally for growing the party, because you get true libertarians interested in what our party is, and they know what our principles are, and they stick around. A lot of times we attract people from the left or the right, and they have a preconceived notion of what our principles are because they heard something like, dare I say, fiscally conservative and socially
liberal,
right? Yeah. Dare I say? So but they hear something like that and they're like, "Oh, that's me," and they come in and they don't really understand what our principles are, and that's why I have a problem too with shiny new candidates that jump into the race at the last minute or from these other parties, because they haven't been in our party long enough to learn what we're about. They haven't been in the trenches. They haven't felt what it's like to be a libertarian. They think that it's going to be as easy or similar to being a D or an R where everything's handed to you on a silver platter, and it's just not. We're made from different cloth, and a lot of America is made from the same cloth we are. It's just showing them who we are. That's important.
That's one of the reasons that I'm a huge supporter of closed primaries too, is that, like, look, open primaries in a lot of states are how you get candidates like Biden and how you get candidates like Trump, people who really don't exemplify the principles that your platform says you're based on, because people who have never read the platform are the ones that are choosing your candidate. And I think that's problematic. I do. I would much rather play the long game than see huge uncontrolled growth in the wrong direction.
Well, I mean, how awful would it be if we ran a candidate that was, Republican light or Democrat light or whatever the flavor of that particular convention season is, and that person won, and then all of a sudden people thought they knew what the Libertarian Party was, and we just slowly saw our principles eroded away, and eventually we became like the Democrats or Republicans. I mean, 100 years ago, the Democrats and Republicans stood for completely opposite things that they do now, both of them. Democrats were more like Republicans, Republicans were more like Democrats, and I would hate to see our principles watered down in 100 years. I just, let's be real libertarians about life. Like, just be who we are, and be proud of who we are.
Here's the other problem we have with that too, is that some states bind their delegates. Delegates are legally bound. That's right?
A real problem. Yeah.
So, and our bylaws preclude that. None of our delegates are going to be bound, right? That would be a problem. So let's say
New York is supposed to be prosecuting that.
Look, let's say that all of the candidates had been on my ballot here today, and maybe Max Abramson, who just dropped out, won.
Max dropped out? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He left the party.
So let's say he won. Now, all of Oklahoma's delegates are legally obligated to go and vote. They wouldn't. And likely Oklahoma wouldn't prosecute, but the reality is the state can prosecute. Typically they don't, but they can.
New York is threatening that they will.
Yeah.
New York right now, people in New York are probably going to take what I said on Facebook a little wrong, but I think as a party, our money is wasted in New York right now because they have set up such a wall against us that it's going to take us years to be able to fundraise enough to get that wall broken down.
Well, they no doubt have, but I mean, what we should be doing is we should be calling attention to the fact that it's a bunch of bullshit. And,
well, and we need to highlight. Look, John Phillips is saying, "I thought only New York did that." No, everybody dig into your state statutes. Almost every state has a faithless elector law. They vary in degrees and in punishment. They almost all have them. They don't all choose to prosecute. Texas didn't when McBride cast a vote for Tony Nathan. But almost every state has a faithless electoral law of some sort.
But
it's unconstitutional.
I mean, I think it needs to be challenged. It really does. And getting back to New York a little bit. I mean, New York has the state right now has created such a wall against them that their ballot access is in serious danger, that their delegates are bound and they're threatening to sue the delegate. I mean, it's a mess, and we should be propping this up and holding it as an example of, look, this is what the state does to get their way. This is what
Why wouldn't the Libertarian Party recruit a big name?
They're already rated as the least, one of the least, I think, number 50 on the Cato's Freedom Index, if I remember right. I could be all wrong on that, but I know they're really, 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 really down there. But this is taking it to a new level. This is silencing people. This isn't right. And we as libertarians need to, I think we do need to try to invest in fixing some of the issues, trying to sue where we can, trying to get the ballot access where we need to. But we also need to be propping this up as this is bullshit kind of media thing, and not be afraid to talk about that and be honest and candid about it too.
Look, so there's a question that just came in. Chris Pierce says, and Richard, this is a great question for you since you're running for vice chair. Why wouldn't the Libertarian Party recruit a big name candidate like Bloomberg?
I'm not sure that's a serious question because he did like this afterwards.
No, but still, it's a good question because there are people who that's the goal. We see it all the time, right? Draft Tulsi, draft Amash.
Yep.
Why shouldn't we?
The shiny object caucus.
Yeah, why
Right.
shouldn't we?
So I don't think we should, because I think that it is vitally important that somebody be in our party for a period of time to understand what our party's makeup is, what we're made of, what we've gone through, understand our history, work a booth at a pride parade like we all have done at some point probably, and just experience our party for at least 1 year. Talk to people, learn our principles, really don't just read the platform and passively identify it, but really understand the statement of principles, really understand what each plank of our platform means, come to love it, come to learn it. And that's not something that a shiny new, recruited in candidate can do. And so I have a real problem with that sort of mentality in our party. I'm really happy with our slate this year. I mean, we've got people who have been in the party for years and years and years on top of that, who are doing phenomenally well, running on a principled message, and they are heads and shoulders above people who maybe have dipped their toe in the party recently, or dipped their toe in the party and run for office previously and come back after a certain number of years. I mean, the principled libertarians stand out, and I think that the principled libertarian would stand out in public too. I mean, just speaking from my own campaign experience, that's what I experienced. I experienced that a truly principled radical message really resonated with a lot of people. And I think we need to not be so afraid to try it. It's kind of, like we do with the government, or with people as we recruit them into the party. What's the harm in trying something new? What's the harm in voting third party one time for the first time? What's the harm in really running a principled candidate and really running and supporting that candidate and see what kind of headwinds they make? And we need to not be afraid of that.
So Chris is saying, but the people don't know them. You're right, Chris. The people don't know them. Here's the thing: the Libertarian Party is based on kind of some solid, building blocks, right? And one is that we're anti-fraud. So when we bring somebody in who's a shiny new object from another party, somebody who doesn't know what the party believes or what we represent, and then they go out and try to speak to the public, they give them a version of us that isn't us, and it's fraudulent. And then people flock over. We see it every election season, especially when we bring in a shiny new object, right? And it's happened a bunch. People flock in and go, yeah, I'm there, I'm with you. And then they read our platform and they feel angry and they feel defrauded because they have been. So it's part of the problem.
Yep. Well, and to answer the question from Chris again, why isn't Weld running as LP? He wasn't a real libertarian. I mean, he stood on the stage, he lied to hundreds of people and said, and thousands if you count how many video views, and said, trust me, I'm in my party. I'm a lifetime member. I will never turn my back on this party. Next election season, the fucker is a Republican again running. It's ridiculous. So why isn't he running as an LP? Because he didn't see the value. He didn't understand our principles, and he was bullshitting, trying to steal our hard-earned work and activism throughout the years to lift himself up, and it was bullshit. And if we didn't learn our lesson with Weld, we've got to learn our lesson at some point. And I'm done running this new shiny object thing.
Now, I will tell you, Chris, there are principled libertarians running around with some serious name recognition and serious name cred. We need to, as a national party, do a much better job engaging those people. People like Melissa Joan Hart, and people like Raven Simone, and people like Penn Jillette, and people like Drew Carey, and people like Kurt Russell, and Woody Harrelson.
Vince Vaughn. How can we forget Vince Vaughn? Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of libertarians out there, and
Edward James Olmos. There's a lot.
And we as a party need to do a better job of making people feel proud to be libertarian, and however we do that, that's a really complicated sort of kind of discussion, and I'm open to have that discussion if we want to, but I don't have all the answers. I mean, it's a tough question, but we need people to be proud of being libertarian, just like they're proud of being a Republican or a Democrat, where they just stand up and say, I'm proud of this party. This is who I'm endorsing. And we just don't have that right now. We've got to find a way to excite our base and take ourselves to the next level. And we can do it. We just got to figure out how.
Yeah, I mean, look, our party look at the conversations we have, right? We tend to get really intellectual. We tend to nerd out a little bit. And I think for some reason we're ashamed of that. There's a whole lot of imposter syndrome, and we're ashamed of being intellectual, and we're ashamed of being nerds, and we're ashamed of being goofy, and there's no reason to be. We need to be like waving that and being proud of who we are.
You're a little shorter.
Not trying to hide it, not trying to pretend that we're something that we're not.
All right, so it's an hour and a half total runtime. I am a zombie. So give us your last 30-second pitch into where we can find you.
All right. Well, my name again is Richard Longstreth. I am running for vice chair of the LNC. Right now, you can find me on Facebook is the best way. Just search Libertarian Longstreth, and you'll find my page on there. You can also add me as a friend until my friends fill up past the limit. I've got a public group that's accessible through Facebook. You can donate at bit.ly RL4 spelled out VC, and just reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation with you guys and hope to have your support in Austin. It's going to be a fun time regardless. So see you there.
And Richard, shoot us that link, drop it into a chat with Dre, and we'll try and get it up on the page.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep, will do.
I look forward to meeting you in person in Austin.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
I can't wait.
All right. And everyone remember patreon.com/drunkmedia. We'll see you all not Thursday. I've got a meeting. Tuesday. Who's on Tuesday? Quick.
Tuesday. Who do we have? I think it is Mark Whitney.
It's Mark Whitney.
Oh,
another fun conversation with Mark Whitney.
I'll be happy to listen to that.
All right.
And guys, seriously, tune in. You're going to get to see some more of Mark and some more of his personality versus his campaign personality. It'll be fun.
I like how you put actual candidates because Kim Ruff is winning North Carolina.
Yeah, it's great.
So, on the 17th, we have Kevin. God, how do you say his last name? Hobby?
Kevin
Hobby from fucking Oklahoma. So I wouldn't be in that week.
Kevin's super cool. You guys should check him out. Tune in.
Then we have Ken Armstrong on the 24th. I owe him a huge apology, and he doesn't know why.
Oh.
Yeah, all that shit that I was saying. And I'm really glad I kept that low key and didn't throw that out in public, because when I went back and read it, I'm like,
you were wrong.
Yeah. Then we've got Mark Sibbett, who's a Omaha comedian. He's I would say the best Omaha comedian.
He's super funny.
Caleb and Scott are really moving up quickly, but Mark has been there for a while. He's
super
really
funny.
And then we have on the 7th, Adam versus Dan, winner take all of my love. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, guys.